Hi guys, you got your boy Pikesy here, bringing it back to Smash It today here for the final week of the DGBA Season 4. Now I know that I was supposed to be uploading a video versus Jake Snake, and I know that I was especially supposed to be doing that because I had to recap from the Battle of JP. But me and Jake tried battling. It couldn't work out. I was on like about I don't know like 14, 15 hours of the day, and he kept on saying that he had to go to sleep, which obviously is fair enough. Um, but like he would like just go away for like 12 hours and just not like talk to me at all. So I don't really know what my final record is. I feel like 4-3 is a solid record. I think that is fair enough to assume, which is alright, of course, because I did say in my interview with Haz that on the DGBA Season 4 channel, which that I would my main goal of this is just to go positive, and I most definitely do believe that I have gone positive. So I'm hopefully going to be leaving timestamps on this video, even though I'm probably going to be skipping around to and through things, but. I feel like we did make a good name for ourselves in this DGBA. We didn't leave this time, however. It felt like Mother Nature was always against us because season 3 I had a ridiculous amount of exams to do. This season I had to get through 17 exams for my mocks. That was ongoing while I was competing for the battles, and I also had an electricity cutout. I also had my my electricity cutout for like 2-3 days. While I was recording the battle versus JP, so that went well. Then also, no, not JP, it was versus Pack, and then versus JP, my screen recorder stopped working, and I'd record like a 40-minute video or something like that. So, yeah, it really did not seem like at the final few weeks that luck was really on our side, but we did get hacks down a little bit on the topic of luck. We did get hacks down quite a bit, but I'm pretty sure that I'll address all the matches. But I just want to thank Haz, MX Dash, and Cav. They've put so much into this league, and I just want to thank them for letting me come into this league. I mean, letting me come in again, I guess, after what happened last season with me just having to say, hey guys, exams. Because last season it was where you had to do 2 games each week, and that was just ridiculous to do with my schedule. Plus, also I was in 4 leagues at that time. Of course, I was only uploading one or two of them at that time. I was uploading the PBA and the SDL. So yeah. Really happy with the logo again. Has made it for me, so that's greatly appreciated as always. Just the guys have put in so much work, and I really can't wait for the next season of the DGBA. It's going to be very interesting. The good thing about the next season is that it's going to be a little bit more of a chill season, so it shouldn't be as competitive, and also we're in groups of 3, so that basically means that there's a third of the work that I had to do this season, and it should be around, I'm assuming, early February to about, I don't know, like early spring maybe. That's what I'm guessing the league is gonna probably take place during. So that's perfect time for me. So I really can't wait for it. But now for I guess what is going to be for the future of the channel, which I quickly want to step on, I guess. So the first thing obviously is that I'm going to be planning to do a lot more draft leagues. Of course, I'm going to be continuing the GBA Season 5 draft league, which is the league where it's classed as the off season. I'm pretty sure we class it as Season 5, which is a bit weird, but well. Not really sure why we're having an off season, but I mean, it's going to be nice to just like relax, and especially for me because I'm, I guess, in funny years one of the newer people. It's going to be nice to actually get to know some other people, even though I have done the interviews and I've talked to people on interviews. Like that would just that was like a 10-minute interview at most with some people. So um, it's just gonna be nice to like talk to them and stuff and see their tactics for team building, especially because like we're gonna be in randomized teams of three. I also want to do another draft league on the side. I might start up the PBA season 2 again. I've got a lot of people wanting to come in to do the next season, but I'm not sure if we should start the next one or if we should just have a small league or whatever, because there were a lot of people last season, as you guys probably know, that dropped out. So that's the only thing that makes me go against having the league. But it's going to be super cool anyway, because on the channel I should be posting another draft league, which is going to be nice because I'm one of the people that if I go away from Pokemon for like a month, like I remember summer, I not this summer, like last summer, I got into Town of Salem a lot, so I was playing it a lot, and then I came back to Pokemon Showdown like not even a month later over the summer, and I was like, okay, what? So I guess that just shows how rusty I can get. So I just want to continuously just kind of push myself a little bit more and just keep on doing the draft leagues. I also want to upload more content onto the channel, just more chill stuff like the like just fun laddering, maybe competitive laddering if I can be bothered, and then like other stuff like what's it called? What's it called? Um, you, that thing. You know the thing where I have to do all the adjectives and stuff. Okay, I'll probably remember it shortly. But I also want to do a lot of collaborations, and that's something that I felt like I've always wanted to do, like from like the very start of YouTube. But I've always been scared to. I've done collaborations with like Pokedeath and like other people. I've done like collaborations with like Pokedeath and Kai and other things like that. But those are all people that I know from school. So I just want to kind of go out of my comfort zone and just do a video like people like Non-Zero. I know that he would be up for a video. He was me and him were talking and we were planning to do a video, so that might be cool. I definitely want to do a video with my boy JJ. I think that would be awesome if I could get JJ to do um like random laddering like Pachirisu and like OU and stuff. That'd be kind of awesome. Coach Oak and of course Hughes. I think that those two would be very good people for random using random teams in like UU and PU. Because I've been laddering quite a bit, like maybe like once a week or twice a week with Hughes just on account, and it's been fun definitely. So I've been enjoying it a lot, just using like trick room teams with them in UU. So I think that'll be fun to use. Coach Oak just seems like the guy that he'll act so chill, and then like the second he like gets like hacked, or the second that starts losing the battle, he'll just start like breaking down to the point where it'll be funny just to laugh at him because he's having like a complete meltdown. And I also maybe want to do a collab with Haz. I know Haz doesn't have like a YouTube channel where he actually uploads content onto, but I think that'd be cool. There's also some other people that maybe just some people that I sometimes find in the comment sections that I would kind of like to do uh, that I would like to do commentaries with, like I think it's Saltfire, which seems like a pretty cool guy, even though he does mostly stuff in the DS. And then there's just other people like the OGs, like Christopher Tricro. Sorry, his name is so long, my goodness. But that was a very cool video that we shot. It was basically just doing 2 videos in OU and PU. He lost the footage to it. I feel like it's kind of ironic he lost the footage considering he lost 5-0 and 3-0 to me. But, you know, whatever. I'm willing to forgive and forget. But of course, the video that I did on the channel about the stuff that should be banned in PU was very good because we predicted a lot of things that we banned. Okay, so Valley Steel is banned from PU, although we didn't emphasize steel. I think we more talked about water. It was banned. Scyther was banned. Was Cinchino? I'm pretty sure Cinchino was banned. Ambipom, no, actually no, Ambipom wasn't banned. But there's quite a bit of stuff that we're talking about. If you guys do want to go check it out, it wasn't that long ago. It was just talking about stuff that should be banned in PU. It should be very easy to find on my channel. But that was a super fun video. I also want to do another video of my boy Ash's Claw because that was hilarious. That Are You Live? I was actually watching a bit of it, and it was just so funny, like the commentary about how I was just getting destroyed by a Trevenant, and Ash is like, I could just sense him this like, oh, I'm so disappointed in you. But oh, it's Magi Lips. That's the video that's talking about with all the adjectives that I might want to do again. But that was those Magi Lips videos were really fun, and I feel like it's one of those videos where even though I'm mostly a Pokemon channel, it's one of those videos where even people that don't understand Pokemon, it's Magi Lips is one of those videos where that anyone understands and can pick up a lot of humor from. But we are now going to go into, of course, what this video is, and we're going to be doing a recap over all 11 Pokemon that we drafted in the DGBA Season 4. If you guys do not know, this is a points draft. Basically, we had 120 points all together. The points ranged from 1 to 20, 20 being top 2 Pokemon like Magearna and Megamall, while then being the really top tier Pokemon. Then there's like one cost Pokemon like, I don't know, I mean, I was about to say Abra, but Abra actually costs 2 points, like your Fion and things like that. Just a very unviable Pokemon, even though Torterra was 1 point, which I find ridiculous, but oh well. So we're going to be going through this, and although I won't have the points up on screen, it's just basically going to be a recap of the kills and stuff that these Pokemon got. So again, thank you for Haz for the amazing logo. I really appreciate it. He put a lot of time into this logo. He actually did it in Gaelic or Irish, one of the two. So it's like Arma Armatches or something. I'm like, yeah, I can't read that. So yeah, let's get into this. The first Pokemon that we've got, of course, is Rotom Wash. That was my first round pick. And do I regret Rotom Wash my first round pick? Kinda, because you see, it's not really one of those Pokemon that you're really proud to announce as your first round pick, because you have all these scary Pokemon like these huge ass dragons like Kyurem Black, and all these super strong Pokemon like Mega Lopunny and like Mega Scizor, which you'd expect to be round 1 picks. But no, I pick up a flippin' washing machine, so it's a bit controversial whether this should have been my actual first pick, but thing that was going through my head was basically I was assuming that the tier 1s would be from 20 to 16 points, the tier 2 would have been about 16 to like 13ish points, and this Pokemon cost 12 points, and I thought that's very low tier for a very low tier 2 for a medium or a very high tier 3. Okay, this Pokemon is usually tier 2 in Draft League and usually goes second round, and of course, knowing how Draft League has its curse put upon me, I'm usually in the middle of drafts, so this was a Pokemon I felt like I'd never be able to draft again, so I might as well draft it. Of course, I could have held out and possibly got it in round 2, but people showed a lot of new toy syndrome. Stack Attacker went second round, Zorora went first round, Blacephalon went very early, Nagnadel went first pick, and I'm pretty sure those were all the new stuff for the most part. Like in Rock Dusk, I mean, it went 11th, but it was still picked. So there's also some like Sticky Webbers that were picked up quite early and stuff like that. And there's also like a lot of things like Tornadus and Landorus that got defogged. So I want to pick up Rotom Wash basically because it has a lot of utility, and now thanks to Ultra Sun and Moon with the move tutors giving it defog, it now has even more utility. So I think that that'd be great for this Pokemon. Rotom Wash, despite what its stats may look about it only getting 1 kill, 1 passive kill, and 6 deaths, it was actually a really good Pokemon. It was a Pokemon that was good to sponge hits and just get switch initiative with Volt Switch, which is what I expect. I think that the best thing about Rotom Wash is that there's very few counters to actually hit it super effectively. Like, you either have to run a Pokemon with Volt Break or Terravolt with ground coverage, or else you have to run a Grass type. And Grass types don't really appreciate getting burnt or poisoned or paralyzed from this Pokemon. And I actually took one of the best responses to Rotom Wash in terms of a Grass type, which I'll get to in a second. But Rotom Wash, I mean, its levitate ability is so nice because it just levitates above ground type attacks, and it means that it has just that really nice resistance, and only having one weakness, I said previously, is very good because it forces Pokemon to just try and nuke this Rotom Wash as hard as possible with their stabs, and since it's not getting the boost from being super effective, it usually just results in this Pokemon only taking about 50% of damage. Pain Split was very nice. I felt like I overused physically defensive Rotom Wash a little bit too much. I don't think I used specially defensive Rotom Wash in an entire game, but I mean there were just so many scary physical threats that my opponents had that I really had to watch out for. The one game that I didn't run bulky Rotom Wash, as you guys probably know, was my game versus Pack, and that Rotom Wash just put in so much work. I mean, being able to trick a Scarf onto Clefable so it just could not do anything, and then hence giving my Delphox always consistently free switches to it was incredible. The best game I said personally was versus Pack because no, not Pack, versus Cav because I managed to kill the Sylveon and I just felt like it scared out a lot of Pokemon. I think that the best games you're gonna see that the best games column is a little bit more favored towards kills and offense. I know, weird, right? Parksy talking about offense of all people. But I really like Rotom Wash. Would I pick it up again? Yes, but probably not as a round 1 pick. If it's one of those Pokemon that are still lying on the board round 2 or round 3, I definitely consider drafting it again because it put in a lot of work. It gives you a good defogger off the bat, and I'm just really happy that I got to try it Rotom Wash, and I feel like I used it pretty well. I could have maybe got a pass, one more pass to kill or two more passes kills, but I'm really not too disappointed with Rotom Wash's performance. Of course, it's not going to lead the league in kills, but it definitely did its part on the team being just a solid Gloomon. Next up, we've got Ferrothorn. Now, this Pokemon's quite interesting. I feel like the good thing about Ferrothorn is that it's such a threat that tons of Pokemon have to run fire coverage. Like, you just can't see a Ferrothorn and be like, yeah, I'm gonna bring one fire type. That's not gonna cut it. I mean, you usually see opponents run about 2 or 3 slots of fire coverage in total. One being like an actual good fire move like Flamethrower, Heat Wave, Fire Blast, something like that to hit the Ferrothorn hard, and then like 2 other Pokemon run like Hidden Power Fire just for coverage. So that's good news about Ferrothorn being such a big threat that you had to bring hit HP Fire. Bad news is when you actually bring Ferrothorn and you're going against a Pokemon with a half decent special attack stat, and you're like, is this Pokemon have HP Fire? Like, I remember versus JP, I constantly had to scout versus that. Like, I had to switch into my Rotom Wash to make sure that he wasn't running HP Fire on his Porygon. Spoilers, he did. But I feel like Ferrothorn, it would have been a lot better to have Scizor on the team, I think. But Ferrothorn gave me a Stealth Rock user, which I definitely needed, and also gave me the option Hazard Stack, even though I didn't Hazard Stack in any of my games. I did plan to Hazard Stack versus Jake, but unfortunately that battle never happened. So Ferrothorn is a good Pokemon. I feel like it's a Pokemon that it depends on the person using it if it's gonna be good, because I remember MX3 using it in SDL and this thing got like 7 kills in like the first like 2-3 games, just because like so many Stealth Rock kills and so many Leech Seed kills. So it's a Pokemon that I'm glad I used it. I think that the core with it and Rotom Wash was definitely very hard to break, but I do think it's a Pokemon that I would draft again just because I would rather draft Ferroseed, just because the amount of Pokemon that ran fire coverage or the amount of really strong fighting types really just prevented me from bringing Ferrothorn. But next up, we've got a Pokemon that I would draft again in a heartbeat. We got your boy Terrakion, 8 kills, 8 kills. We probably could have got 10 kills if we played against Jake, but oh well. I mean, this Pokemon easily put in the most amount of work on my team, and I think it's definitely one of the top killers in the entire league. I mean, this Pokemon threw so many people off. It forced so many teams onto their backs. I mean, JP, he had to sack his Hoopa Unbound to Terrakion, which managed to knock it out the Hoopa Unbound in close combat thanks to Stealth Rocks. It also managed to take down a Donphan. It managed to take on JJ. Like, I mean, Scarf Terrakion ripped through JJ. It was my savior. It managed to knock out the Darkrai, it managed to knock out the Thunderous Therian, and it really just managed to open up the door for my Delphox, which we'll get into in a second, just to be able to really take down the rest of his team. Terrakion was great. I'm kind of disappointed that I didn't use the Dual Dance set even more, because I only ran the Dual Dance set once, and that was versus Cav, and we all know how that went, with sacking Shaman off within like the first two turns. But Terrakion was great. I definitely think that. Sorry, I need to move my pillow for a second because I was in an uncomfortable position. But it's definitely a Pokemon I think I overuse a little bit with the Choice Scarf. But I think that the best thing about Z Terrakion is the fact that it's so diverse in its move pool. I mean, you really have to calc for Z Rockinium, you have to calc for close combat or Fighting Z, you have to calc for Flyinium Z, you have to calc for Poisonium Z, and you also have to calc for Choice Band, Life Orb, Terrakion. I mean, there's just so many variations of Terrakion that can come. Unfortunately, I didn't get to use the Focus Sash variant, which is one I was very looking forward to using, but I really need the offense in the team. I think that is quite fair that I did need offense on my team quite desperately, and Terrakion was the main offense. Next season, I hope to draft a little bit more offense because this team, as great as it was in a bulky stance, I feel like it just. I mean, it was kind of hard to play off offense. I was always because I'm one of those people that are like, okay, I need to have something that doesn't get too hit KO by every single thing in this roster. Like I need a team that I know, like, okay, this is my switch in and it won't be too KO'd. That's always how I play. And when I draft, I always think, okay, I need my Fire Water Grass core, my Fairy Dragon Steel core, my Fast Electric type, my Ground type to resist the electric, the electric attacks. I need my Stealth Walkers. I need my Defoggers. I need my Flying or Levitating Pokemon to be immune to the Ground type attacks. I need my Cleric, I need my Wishmaster if necessary, and just all these things are going through my head, and usually that ends up with me drafting bulky because there's quite a lot, I think there's more Pokemon that are defensive in the game than are offensive, and that just really leads to like me just being like, okay, well this Pokemon works well in the core, well, that's nothing about offense. I'm just a person that is like, okay, that when I'm drafting, I think of I need to get switch-ins to good types, and not really like revenge kill types or whatever. By the way, quick side note, lots of people had very different opinions about my team. Non-zero rated it 8th, Has rated it 12th. I personally rated it 12th. JJ rated it, I think, 15th, 16th. And then Gengar Raichu, I think, rated it about 16th as well. 15th, I think, actually. So so I think if I were to be honest, I think that this team would be 12th overall. I think if that's fair by combining all of our ideas. Which of course is fine. I can definitely pick up some fatal flaws about the team, but I think that we definitely showed off that we're not just that Northern Irish person, that young dumb Northern Irish person. We actually can battle and improve ourselves. Next up is a very interesting Pokemon, however, is Alolan Muk. Okay, this Pokemon was very good. I have to apologize to Hughes because every single time we were going through the team, or I was sending him the team, being like, okay, can you give me the thumbs up about this team, or is there anything you think I could change or whatnot? He was like, curse a load of muck every single game. Most of the time I said no, Hughes, stop. But I have to give it to him. Curse Muck would have probably helped out in the match versus Pack. Definitely would have helped out in the match versus Pack. It's like his team was so weak to Curse Alola Muck. I'm trying to go through the team. There's like nothing that one with like a +1 defense boost could break through Alola Muck. Uh, but the Cursed Alolan was by far my favorite set with Figgy Berry. I mean, that thing just destroyed Undersea Warrior. The Assault Fest set definitely came in clutch versus Mike as it countered as the base fell on. It was also just very good for Cav. This thing survived a +2 Draconium Z from Naganadel. That's impressive, if you ask me. That's impressive. But I definitely would draft a Muck again. It's a Pokemon that I was feeling a bit iffy about because I've played with Drapion quite a lot and in RU, in Ultra Sun and Moon RU, and also in Oris RU, and I've never liked it in never liked it in RU. It just doesn't hit that hard. Then you have to run Choice Band, and then it's predictable. And then sure you can set up Tox Spikes, but then you don't have the bulk of the Assault Vest, or you don't have the bulk of the or the actual added offense of the Choice Band. You can barely pursue trap anything and like pick up Okos. Alolan is great, base 1 to 5 attack, and definitely the opportunity to run Curse as a setup, and I don't want to say reliable recovery, but definitely recovery in the way that it can use Figgy Berry, Gluttony, and Recycle. So I'm so glad that I had a little muck in this team. I'll probably pick it up again, to be honest, because I really liked it. It was just such a good counter to so many scary threats like ghost types without a little muck would have ran through my team. Uh, there is also there was also some psychic types, which of course would be scary for things like Terrakion, and also would be able to take hits from Starmie and Delphox. So I think the Muck altogether was probably the Pokemon that held the team together very well, and I'm super glad that I drafted it. It was kind of a last minute. It was one of those things that I kept on talking over with Haz, and it wasn't until like it's like, oh yeah, at Park C, it's your pick. I was like, okay, time to go a little amok. And something that I was so disappointed in was no one pointed out my Alolan Muck and my Rotom Wash core. Because Rotom Wash only weak to grass, and Alolan Muck is only weak to ground, okay? Rotom Wash is immune to ground, and Muck resists grass, okay? Those things have got perfect synergy, of course, apart from Breaker or Terrible Pokemon. But that's why I drafted my next Pokemon. But I think that definitely being able to offer pursuit, like having that ability to scare Pokemon with pursuit trap is so nice. I remember Mike, every time he had Bronzong, and that just gave me a free switch into a little Muck. So that was pretty dope. Next up, we've got Shaman. Shaman is a mixed bag. Shaman is always a Pokemon that I've never really liked, but it's always on the board, and I'm like, fine. It's one of the Pokemon that I need that base 100 speed tier. I need that grass type, and Shaman for some reason that stupid freaking Meadow is still on the board, and I'm like, fine, I'll draft you. Okay, Shaman, what were you doing in that match versus JJ? Okay, you missed 3 Seed Flares. Okay, we could have killed Silvally probably. In half the time it took because JJ got probably off double the parting shots he should have. Like, Shaman, just connect a Seed Flare. I was screaming at the computer screen and it just wouldn't. It just like it put on like his blind glasses. Like, goodness, I don't even know. It just kept on missing and I had a blindfold over or something like that. I think that Shaman with base 100 stats is very good, though. It's definitely very customizable for League, and especially it being grass hit with so many common weaknesses like flying, poison, fire. It's just so nice to have those customizable EVs. So you can be like, okay, well, I can definitely live this hit after Stealth Rocks in case all goes to worse. It's a good Scarf user, and it's definitely got a lot of utility with things like Subseed, and it can also run Tailwind, but I'd definitely rather draft a lower tier grass type. Like, I think that I'm not gonna lie, Tangela was a better Pokemon than this. It put in more work in the PBA than Shaman did, because Tangela, you know, it's got blood from the Violite. Like, any physical attack, it just is like, no, just give it to me. Like, Flare Blitz does like 30% to it or something. It's so crazy. But Shaman, I mean, I kind of like versus my battle versus Jake. I had some really nice tech on it, which I'm really disappointed that we didn't get the battle. But you know, it all happens. But time zones, you know. But I'm probably not going to draft Shaman again. I've drafted it 2 seasons of the DGBA in a row. Of course, if it's on the row, I mean, if it's on like the board in like round 9, round 10, or round 11. And again, if I have that Pokemon that I need that needs to be base 100 speed, and I need that grass type, Sheem is probably going to be the pick. But I'll try next time to widen my draft and maybe pick up a late game grass type like Gourgeist or Tangela. Because Shaman, I think it just costs a bit too much, honestly, and I didn't really bring it to games. Moreover, I had two grass types on the team, and for Pokemon that ran fire coverage, even if like Ferrothorn didn't come, then Shaman still might come, and then you can still hit Shaman with decently hard. Shaman, the main idea, people were complaining about Shaman being my secondary grass type, but you gotta realize I had no switch-ins to things like Excadrill or Earth Power Kyurem, so I definitely wanted to bring Shaman. And I mean, despite it missing so many of its Sea Flares, it actually did work against JJ. It got its two kills from JJ. It killed Garchomp and Silvally Grass finally with an Earth Power because I didn't want to miss again. So next up we've got Mega Altaria. Now, its stats don't look good. I'm not gonna lie, its stats look trash. But I do think that Mega Altaria is an overrated sweeper. Like people are like, oh yeah, you set up two Dragon Dances, you can sweep the entire team. I feel like it's more better as one of those Pokemon that just break walls and make it so that like one of your late game sweepers or cleaners can come in and just finish off the game. I think that's very vital and crucial. Mega Altaria was a Pokemon that, of course, I drafted because it filled out my Fairy and my Dragon for my Fairy Dragon Steel Core of Ferrothorn. I don't think I played bad with this Pokemon at all. I just think that it's a Pokemon that can more likely be forced. It's like Mew. Its best set in Draft League is as a defensive Pokemon, and I kept on finding that I should have to run Roost on any set. If it's offensive, I had to run Roost. If it's defensive, I had to run Roost, obviously, because it would be removing hazards or being cleric to my team. But apart from that, it did a lot of work. As I said previously, his best game was versus JP. JP had no switches to this thing. He just had to keep on wish stalling with his Vaporeon, which thanks for that, JP, by the way. But that's what JP does best. Next, we got Licky Licky. Now, yeah. Oh, this is an interesting Pokemon. So I picked up Licky Licky, as you guys probably know, as that really good Wish Passer. Also, I'm a little muck might not come to every game, so it also gave me another response to Ghost type Pokemon. Licky Licky, I mean, I just feel like it's just so passive that it's just setup fodder. Like, so many teams had such strong fairy types that were so scary that you needed a phaser for, obviously. And Licky Licky, the only phasing move he gets is Dragon Tail, so that's really bad. People can just set up substitutes, they can have fairy types, and I mean, they can just OHKO Licky Licky before like it even gets its Dragon Tail off. I think that's just very passive in the format. It's also a Pokemon that I think's a lot better in Draft League format when Weather is drafted. I definitely remember the amount of work that has as Licky Licky did against Irazban in the SDL. Like, I mean, it walled his entire raid draft. But since there are no rain, sun, hail, sand teams, and well, I mean, sand with inverted commas because no, not inverted commas. What I'm saying with like the bunny ears because calving. I mean, technically had a sand team, but it's just a Pokemon that I think that if weather didn't cost so much, if it didn't cost added 1.4 times to every Pokemon that gets a weather boost, I think it could have been a nice Pokemon because I feel like more people would have actually drafted weather in this season. Like maybe someone might have drafted a rain team, maybe Kojo might have went back to his abusing Politoed down in tier 3 days. But unfortunately, Licky Licky didn't really do anything. I feel like next time, as a better Wish Passer, I don't know. I mean, Florges was Florges was an amazing Wish Passer in the SDL. I just wish I had my SDL draft in this, honestly, because it was broken as heck. Hippowdon in tier 3, Florges in tier 3. Talonflame in tier 4. What were those guys thinking? But anyway, let's move on to a boy that I was very proud of. My boy Starmie, uh, aka Savior. This thing just managed to clutch up against Undersea Warrior, surviving a Life Orb, a Sucker Punch from a Physical Nido King, thanks to a Culberberry defensive Starmie by yours truly. Starmie, I think, was a great Pokemon. I mean, it gave me that Rabbit Spin support, which I think was so crucial, because so many people were running Defog, but I mean, being able to keep your hazards on the field while removing your opponent's hazards were very nice. Of course, there's a little part of me that regrets not running Z Starmie, because I mean Starmie is a Pokemon where its move pool is better, so it can definitely get a lot more mileage out of its coverage. So if you switch into a Grass type, it can be like, hey, Analytic Ice in EMZ, switch into that, and that's what I think was the nicest thing about Starmie Z, which I really wanted to run it, was because of Analytic. Like, you get Foresight Bat Stabs, you switch into a Pokemon, and then suddenly you have to eat a Z boosted Analytic, which is basically just a Life Orb boosted Z move, which is absolutely nuts. And I mean, Starmie, it hit pretty hard. It's got base 100 special attack, but it's a good Pokemon. It definitely has like, a lot of common weaknesses in Draft League format, but I think that it was a nice Pokemon. Its speed stat is very good. It's the fastest Pokemon on my team, and I mean, I might draft it again, but the thing is, it's one of the Pokemon that it's gonna be hard to draft again, because I wouldn't draft it as a tier 1 ever in a draft league, just because I mean I feel like you can get so much more mileage out of things like Landorus Therian with its options to defog, Tornadus Therian with I mean even Volcanion it can defog now. Just there's so many more better hazardous removers that aren't forced into that role of just being a bulky rapid spinner, because let me tell you, Starmie has to be almost fully bulky to actually take hits. Like I remember going up against who was it? Pack. I had to go against Pack, and to take 2 hits with Mega Medicham, which by the way, even max physical defense Starmie does not take 2 high jump kicks from Mega Medicham. But I remember that I just had to invest full defense into the Starmie so that it could actually be a half decent counter to Mega Medicham. But next up, we've got a very nice surprise. We've got Pylo Swine, 3 kills, 2 deaths in 3 games played. Of course, this Pokemon was absolutely nuts versus Pack, being able to take down just 20 Asterion and just proving to be a very reliable switch into that Pokemon. I mean, even versus Cav, when we switched this Pokemon into Milotic because we decided to Scald against a Rotom Wash. Even versus Cav, I mean, this Pokemon barely took, it just took a little bit over 50% from a Scald, from a Milotic, so that's quite impressive as well. To give me another very reliable Stealth Rock setter, and usually I just had Piloswine. It's a great Pokemon. Think Fat, I think is very nice. The Violet allows it to live hits, and I mean, base 100 attack isn't that great, but its stabs are superb. I mean, it has one of the best, has 2 of the best type coverage. Like, it has the best one of the best synergies of types offensively. I mean, Ice and Ground just rips through so many teams. There's very few Pokemon that can resist both of its stabs, and I think that's very nice to note. It also gives me a bulky Pokemon, as I said previously, a Phaser of Roar, which was super nice for the Carmine Clefable, which Pack had. Because that thing was gonna sweep my entire team, but thanks to Piloswine I could actually bore it out. Of course, Haz afterwards was like, "Why would you run Horde versus a regen core?" But I had my reasons. Of course, I expected either Cosmic Power or Carmine Clefable to come, so it worked out in the end, and I'm super happy with it. High Shard is super nice priority as well, and I just think the Fix That is just such a good ability, being able to shield it from fire type attacks and ice type attacks. Next up, we have got Delphox. Oh, these people are eating their words. They said Delphox didn't really class as a wall breaker. Okay, this thing was great. Okay, JJ was like, okay, well, I wouldn't really class Delphox as a wall breaker. It kind of is. I mean, this Pokemon took down a Mega Mawile, okay? When have you ever saw that, okay? Delphox was phenomenal. I mean, I think it costs a little bit too much in my personal opinion. I mean, Tysplosion costs 4, and this thing costs 7, I believe. But it was a super nice Pokemon. Uh, Great speed stat, of course, being able to outspeed base 100s, and I just really like Delphox. I mean, that game versus JJ, I would have lost that game definitely if I did not have the Will-O-Wisp Colberberry tech on it. So I'm really proud of Delphox for just being able to tank those hits. And yeah, I mean, it's just a great Pokemon. I think that it's a Pokemon that slept on. Unfortunately, I didn't get to use the Magician Power Herb Solar Beam set, which I kind of wanted to use admittedly for JP's Alomomola. But firstly, I feel like you might expect it because A-Drive has done it before in the UCL Season 2. And also, Shockwave is just better for hitting the Gyarados because of the cooldown for Stealth Rocks. So, that's just great. I love Delphox. Definitely a fire type I'm considering to draft again. The psychic typing kind of lets it down a little bit because it means it's going to be pursuit trapped, and it also means that psychic type, it's just such a common typing that you can only really afford to have 1, maybe 2 max Pokemon that are psychic types on your team before you start really suffering from being weak to dark or ghost type attacks. And that's maybe the reason why I might not pick up Delphox as my psychic type, because there have been some really good psychic types I think have been slightly better than Delphox. Of course, because they're higher tier, like Latios. In the STL, I definitely want to draft again because it was superb. I mean, offensively, defensively, Dragon Dance, Calm Mind, that coverage. Okay, I'm having best flashbacks right now. But we are now going to go into the final Pokemon, Tornadus Incarnate. Recently, well, not recently, but it replaced Tyrantrum week 2 of the DGBA Season 4. I mean, this Pokemon was great. Definitely. It was admittedly the jack of all trades, where it's basically like, hey, I'll take you down, but I'm so easy to revenge kill. But the fact that it gets priority default this generation was really good. I mean, it just prevented Hack from setting up webs versus me. It removed rocks on many occasions, and it can also do like things like Tailwind, and hits very hard. It actually hits harder than Tornadus Therian, I believe. Like, this Pokemon's move pool is great. I mean, U-turn, Superpower, Knockoff, Heat Wave, I'm pretty sure it gets Grass Knot. Yeah, I guess Grass Knot. Okay, sorry, I'm an idiot. But all those things are just so nice for Tornadus. It also gets Taunt and just other really nice status moves with the base 111 speed stat, which I think really helps out my team. Definitely helps out my Volt turn combo with it and Ruin and Wash. But I think altogether, how I went into a weird accent there, but how did this team do? As I said previously, I think that it was a bit too defensive for my liking, but apart from that, it definitely went very well. There's definitely some Pokemon I can pick out that I would definitely try to draft again in another draft league. But thank you guys for watching this video. If you did enjoy, or if you want to share any other comments, please do a comment down below your thoughts and feelings if I did miss something out, or if you feel like a certain Pokemon did better than I previously mentioned, or if you think a Pokemon did worse than I mentioned, or if you think I'm overhyping it. Also, you guys have not done so yet, subscribe. It's free. Free stuff is great. We also have to do. I don't know. I'm gonna plan to try and get into another draft league. I'm not really sure which one yet, but it's definitely gonna be pretty cool. So thanks guys for watching this video, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.